Hi, everyone. My name is Masha Crichton, and I'm the marketing manager at Arable Labs. We are so excited to be part of this year's virtual PMA Fresh Summit, and I'm really happy you're joining us for this demo today. Arable is an agricultural data and analytics company based in California, and we have a very clear mission at Arable, and that is to empower growers and businesses across the agricultural spectrum to improve productivity in their operations through real-time, relevant, and actionable data. So here is a photo that's sort of become legendary at Arable. On the left is Adam Wolf, Arable's co-founder, doing fieldwork in Kazakhstan back in 1999 with a weather station that he had to import into the country for his research. This was like a $150,000 setup. It spent 6 months sitting in customs before they could even retrieve it. And then they had to rent a Soviet Jeep to haul it out into the field. And because the battery on this device was so expensive, they had to hire someone to guard it. And in a twist of irony, the security guard ended up stealing the battery. And so after all of that time and expense and headache, when Adam went to retrieve the data from the data logger, he realized that it was full of gaps and basically unusable. So following this ordeal, Adam had this idea, which was to create a compact, inexpensive in-field weather station that was accurate, reliable, and accessible to anyone. And then he had an idea to integrate sensors for plant measurements so you could track a plant's response to its environmental drivers. And after years of development, which included the product design of Fred Bold, who designed the GoPro camera and the Nest thermostat, here is the result. And so in this photo, you see the second generation of Arable's in-field weather and plant monitoring device, the Mark II. But Arable is really much more than just the Mark. We're truly a complete system for data-driven decision-making. So the data that the Mark collects from the field is pulled into Arable's software platform, where it's presented in a really intuitive and user-friendly way, and also incorporated into various agronomic crop models to help with decision-making. We offer a mobile app so you can have complete visibility into your fields at your fingertips at any time. We have a robust but very user-friendly web app that gives you deeper insights and analytics. And then we also have an API that integrates seamlessly into any third-party digital platform. Another really useful tool that we offer are alerts for frost, heat spikes, rain events, and other weather-related events. And these alerts can be received via text messaging, phone call, or push notifications through our mobile app. So we'll look at some use cases in just a minute, but first let's go back to the technology for a moment. The Mark II is truly an all-in-one device. It's a hyperlocal weather station, a crop monitor, and an irrigation management tool all in one. It collects and synthesizes over 40 data streams, including temperature, humidity, solar radiation, precipitation, NDVI, chlorophyll index, and much, much more. Our agronomic crop models give you important measurements such as ETC and GDD for irrigation decisions and growth stage monitoring. The Mark connects cellularly via LTE-M, 2G, and NB-IoT, which gives it a really wide reach across even the most remote rural areas. The device is rugged, and it's really built to withstand extreme temperatures and harsh environments. The Mark is solar powered, and it has no moving parts, making it essentially maintenance-free. It installs in just a few minutes. It's really just as easy as mounting a disc on a pole, and it connects with the press of a button. And we also connect third-party sensors such as soil moisture probes, anemometers, and pressure switches, and that data is seamlessly integrated into our platform to give you a truly complete picture of what's happening across your fields. So aside from being the only device on the market to measure both weather and plant health data, something that really sets us apart from other weather stations is the accuracy of our sensors and our data. Arable has partnered with over 30 global research institutions such as NASA and the USDA across the full spectrum of agricultural climate zones. Our devices are stationed alongside research-grade sensors to calibrate and validate the data. And we use machine learning to continuously improve our data and forecasting accuracy. So the more and more data points we pull in, the more our accuracy actually improves. So now let's have a look at how our technology solution can help you manage your operation in really practical ways. Let's start with weather. So I'm sure you're well aware of the importance of weather to your growing operation, but did you know that 90% of crop yield variability is weather driven? In fact, planning around the variability of weather is listed as the #1 challenge for growers in North and South America. So many of the decisions that you have to make as a grower depend on the weather, such as timing of planting, fertilizer and crop protection applications, irrigation timing and amounts, staffing, harvest planning, yield estimation, the list goes on and on. And if any R&D folks are watching this demo, you also know how important accurate weather data is in making the best advancement decisions. But the problem is so many operations rely on gridded or remotely sensed weather forecasts, and these are rarely accurate, particularly in areas with variations in topography and microclimates. You can have very different things happening across your various fields. So relying on a forecast that's pulled in from a weather station 15 miles away is just not going to give you the accurate data that you need to make good decisions. One of the main value propositions with Arable is around more accurate field level weather, what you'd call hyperlocal weather. In fact, what we've seen at Arable is that with hyperlocal weather, we can actually increase the real-time readings and forecast accuracy by about 30% over remote sensed or gridded weather. And this is important for many reasons. So for example, while these errors are off between about 20 to 50% as actual measurements, as they're accumulated over time in the thermal model, the errors compound. So the biases can often have the current growth stage and GDD of the crop wrong by up to 7 days, which is pretty problematic when you're planning things like spray applications and harvest. And then of course, remote sensed weather, or really any other weather stations on the market, they don't measure plant data. And this is a piece that's critical to understanding the key indicators of things like disease pressure, harvest timing, and yield. Arable uses a 7-band spectrometer in the mark, so you can monitor canopy health and growth stages of the crop with an NDVI curve. Our canopy temperature sensors and leaf wetness models allow you to identify specific periods of heightened disease pressure that can negatively impact your yield. Another important area of decision making for growing operations is when to spray or when not to spray. And this is something that you need to get right, or you risk losing a lot of money. In fact, losses to poor weather timing can amount to about 30% of applied pesticides. Arable can tell you the precise growth stage your crop is in, and also give you an accurate weather forecast and insight into the current conditions in your field, so you're not spraying during adverse weather conditions that might limit the effectiveness of the application. If you look at the screenshot of our mobile app on the right side of the screen, we give you parameters such as accumulated leaf wetness. So when the moisture builds in the plant and in the canopy, there's a higher probability of a fungal outbreak. So understanding when this is peaking over time really helps you understand when there's likely to be more disease pressure in the fields. You can also see the time until the next precipitation event. So here it says 10 hours. This really helps you understand if you need to move spray equipment around in the fields, or if you're going to apply chemicals in the fields, how long do they have to dry before there's potential for the effectiveness to be washed away. And then you can see with the integrated anemometer data, the wind speed and the wind direction at application timing. And that ensures that you're following any sort of regulatory practices locally and that the spray is not going to drift into somebody else's property. And of course, the best weather window, so you're spraying at the right time when it's not too wet or too windy. Another thing Arable can help you with, and this is especially valuable to larger operations, is operational management. We give you complete visibility across your entire operation so you can monitor the progress of your crop or crops all in one place and prioritize your field operations. So in this screenshot, for example, we're looking at the accumulation of growing degree days, the GDD, across several fields. We're also showing you where your crops are in terms of canopy development with the NDVI reading and what that means in terms of yield outcomes and the timing of harvest for the end of the season. And the ETC measurements show you the water loss by the crop over the previous week. So helping to understand what's happening today and what's predicted for the future really allows you to plan ahead on where to scout, where to irrigate, and generally where to put your resources at any given time. And so we really set out to make it very easy for field managers, researchers, growers, producers to access the data they need in real time and to have the data at their fingertips at a global level to understand procurement decisions throughout the food supply chain. Along with our other measurements, we really aim to keep everyone informed. And this allows the users to set parameters around different events in the field. So heat spikes, understanding when there's high heat days, when you need to pull folks out of the field, when there's frost events. We can send you alerts, like I said, in a number of ways when a certain threshold is hit. Many people want to know when it starts raining, when it's rained a certain amount, when it stops raining. We can alert your field teams to that as well. Our software allows you to set up teams and permissions so you can control who in your operation sees the information that is relevant to them. So Arable is only 5 years old, but we've already partnered with many of the largest agricultural companies in the world. There's over 1,500 marks deployed in over 30 countries across about 30 or so different crops in every continent except for Antarctica. We work with growers of all sizes. We work with researchers and academic institutions, R&D departments of large-scale agricultural and food companies, breeders and plant geneticists and government institutions, and on and on. Our data is being used to power the digital ag platforms of major companies such as BASF's Exarvio and Netafim. We have distribution partners in Argentina and Australia, and we very recently opened a hub in Brazil, which we're extremely, extremely excited about. And so here is a page with some quotes of what our customers are saying about us. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you found this information useful, and we would love to answer any questions that you might have or schedule a live demo. Please visit our page on the Fresh Summit portal to schedule an appointment with our team or reach out with any questions. This deck will be uploaded to our Fresh Summit page, and we're happy to send you any other resources that you might need. Thank you again for your time. I hope everyone has a great PMA Fresh Summit this year, and please stay well and healthy. Thank you.